Good morning and welcome back. Watermelon. On a quick side note, watermelon is possibly one of the best snacks in the summer heat. That is, summer heat of Australia. So today's video is a little bit different, but still on the topic of one of my favorite things, which is sort of like what my training looks like at the moment, but more specifically how I'm training now when I'm on my period, which I think changes for a lot of people depending on what your period is like. Also, a little TMI before we really get into the nitty-gritty of this video is if you're squeamish or you don't like hearing about periods and that kind of thing, please click away. Otherwise, I will just assume you've clicked full well knowing what we'll probably talk about in this video. So one of the reasons why I'm filming this video is because I believe in working with what your body is telling you, especially in particular to your monthly cycle. Now, sort of over the last 2 years, 3 years, I've been really enjoying learning more about my monthly cycle and how it works and how it affects the body. Because honestly, let's face it, when you are on your menstrual cycle, that affects women the most. Sometimes it leaves women in bed for a couple days, if not a week. And some people can get a little bit more movement in there. So just a little note before I continue any further, I am by no means an expert in this field. A lot of this information that I'm going to be talking about is stuff that I've learned in books over the years and from my personal experience. But most recently, I've been reading a new book called In the Flow by Alisa Vitti. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but I think that's how you say it. I'll leave the book name and the author down in the description below so you can look it up if you're curious about what I'm talking about. So I've found this book really interesting because Alisa actually talks about working out, eating, and sort of planning your work around the different monthly phases in your cycle, because they all affect our body and how we sort of function. And that's the basic premise of the book and what she dives into. So for this video, I'm just going to be sticking to talking about how your monthly cycle affects your workouts, and I'm going to explain what I've been experiencing and experimenting with that I've sort of read from her book. So you're probably wondering how your monthly cycle actually affects your workouts and your body's ability to burn fat, and when to do more sort of chilled out, relaxed workouts. So I'm just going to go over a quick breakdown of the different phases in your monthly cycle and what happens in those phases in terms of your body's ability for working out. Now, I am going to be looking over to the side a little bit because I've just written a couple dot points to remember for this section, because I do not remember them off by heart. I wish I did. If I had memory that I could read something and then remember it really well. Unfortunately, that is not my strong suit. But let's dive in. So the first phase that I'm talking about is the follicular phase. So this is your phase that happens just after your period finishes. And this is when your energy starts to rise again, because the levels of your estrogen and testosterone are starting to rise again. So the author talks about that this is a great time to do some cardio or to mix up your workout routine. The reason why you want to do those is because your body reacts efficiently to these more hardcore workouts, because they boost your metabolism, they help you lose weight and build lean muscle. After the follicular phase, you come into the ovulatory phase. So this is when your estrogen and testosterone levels reach their peak point. And so this gives you heaps of energy to burn. So you can continue to do some of your most intense workouts, like interval sprints, HIIT workouts, boot camp, kickboxing, the list goes on those really hardcore intense workouts. After this, you come into the luteal phase. Now, the first half of the luteal phase, so the first 5 days, you still actually have slightly elevated estrogen and testosterone levels. But then another hormone, progesterone, I really hope I've also said that right.
Progesterone.
Yeah, progesterone. And then progesterone also comes into play here, which means you'll still have just enough energy for those intense workouts, which means this becomes a great time for strength training or intense yoga, as this helps to maximize your lean muscle gains. So then the second half of your luteal phase, all 3 of these hormones, so estrogen, testosterone and progesterone, they all start to decrease, which starts to move your body out of that optimal muscle building mode. So it's a great time to start to go towards those flexibility, Pilates type based workouts that are a lot more like gentle on your body. Other things like Pilates and yoga, the author suggests here. And then finally we come into our menstrual phase. Now this is when your energy and your hormone levels are at their lowest. So of course this means you have less energy compared to some of the other phases when they're at their highest, which means that the author suggests relaxing, easy workouts during this time. She actually recommends walking, foam rolling, and even napping. Yes, you heard me right. She recommends napping. She also, she talks about, sleep is important in, this section of the book, and I totally agree. And I think if your energies are really low and you do feel like you need a bit more sleep, that's what your body needs then. So sort of following on from that point, the best part about all of this is that your phases flow into one another. So there isn't a really distinct, apart from your menstrual phase, normally they flow into each other rather than having a really distinct finish and start. So what she does is she recommends actually listening to your body and doing what feels good for you in the moment. You can sort of roughly know what workouts are good for those times, and then you can sort of evaluate how you feel and what you feel like doing, which is one of the things that I strive to do before I read this book, and now that I'm halfway through this book, I feel even more of a push to really listen to my body and what it's telling me to do in those different phases of my monthly cycle. But today I'm just going to be showing you guys what I'm doing on my menstrual phase, because I have a very active lifestyle, and I think in the past I've generally tried to sort of push through this phase. I've never actually sort of taken things, never really listened to my body and taken things back a level. So that's what we're going to do. If you are curious about more of my experience and my experimenting with this new way of working out, let me know down in the comments and I can make some other videos if you guys are curious about that. I've definitely found a lot of this stuff pretty mind-blowing. But apart from that, let's dive straight into this video. Now, I'm going to have to do a little recap because I'm filming this the day after my period has started. So yesterday was Tuesday, and I had originally planned to do a workout with some of the other girls from the show. I really enjoy our workouts as we do a combo of weights training and cardio in the form of a HIIT circuit. And I just love those workouts. But I got my period that morning and I'd already planned to do this workout, and so sort of knowing that I had my period, I was like, alright, I'll do the workout, but I'll just be really mindful that I'm on my period, I'm feeling, a bit bloated and a little bit crampy. So I was like, I'm just going to take the workout really easy and to just sort of move my body a bit, because Tuesdays I normally don't do any circus training, and that was the only kind of movement that I was doing for the day, so I was kind of happy to just take a really easy workout. Try and insert some footage of us actually doing a group workout, but it won't be from that Tuesday, so sorry guys. Alright, and then that brings me to today, which is Wednesday morning, nice and bright and early. Today I've planned to do a really chilled sort of walk. There's a bit of a river walk that I think I can get to, so I'm gonna go and do that, and I'm gonna bring you guys along with me. Let's go. So I just got back from my walk. That was so nice and so lovely to just go out, have a walk, have a little de-stress and think and listen to some music. I'm now gonna have a little break, have some food, and then I'm gonna go into the tent and do some circus training. I think I'm gonna do a slightly shorter, relaxed handstand session, very much focusing on my flexibility and active flex today. So I'll see you guys in the tent very soon. Good morning. Today is Thursday. So I felt really good yesterday, especially towards the afternoon after my circus training, which is usually when I feel the most tired. And I also normally feel tired when we're just opening the show. But yesterday I didn't feel tired at those times. I actually felt really sort of like revived and energized after training. Like I didn't feel like I completely like depleted all of my energy. And so then when I woke up from my nap and I was like ready for the show and stuff, I actually felt like I had energy at that time, which was really nice. So I think yesterday I did a really good amount of training to then still have energy all throughout the rest of the day. Now today my plan is to have another sort of like really casual day. I'm actually not even going to do a workout. I'm just going to focus on my circus training. So today is juggling, which is very, very low intensity, which is good. And then I'm going to do some sling/straps training today, except I'm going to do some easy skill training and act endurance training instead of doing my like really hardcore sort of like strength drill conditioning, just to continue to keep my training nice and light. Yeah, and then I'll report back to you tomorrow, which is my last day of my period, thank fuck. But the great thing is I feel like my energy levels are all already starting to increase again, which is really nice. I feel like I haven't completely like drained myself with the amount of like training and workouts that I would normally do. So hopefully this will be a little bit more sustainable for me in the long run. today is the next day. It's Friday. I have pretty much finished my period. I'm one of those people that is blessed with a short menstrual cycle, but yesterday felt really good after training. Felt like I still had some energy, and especially towards going into the show that night, I felt like I had some energy then. I hope you guys have enjoyed this kind of video. It's a little bit different to what I've normally been doing, so if you do enjoy it, please let me know down in the comments. If you did like this video, please give it a like and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more, and click that little notification bell if you want to be notified anytime I upload a new video, which is usually once a week on Sundays. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. I hope I hope you guys have enjoyed this kind of video. If you have enjoyed Did you think I was talking to you for a second?
I'll be quiet.
I'm pretty much finished.